Are you sick of looking at Netflix and you don't know what to watch?
So many movies out there, you don't know which ones are good, which ones were bad.
You curious about what's out there?
I'm Joey Powers.
I'm Don Trettler.
This is The Best Pictures.
The ones you don't want to miss.
Hit it. Say hello to my little friend.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Winners go home and prom queen.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't deserve this. Deserves got nothing to do with it.
No sequel for you.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Trettler. Welcome to the show.
Today, we are going to be talking about how to win an Oscar. But first, Don.
Well, I wanted to let you know that before we continue, we want to let everyone know that this show is broadcast live from the Fact TV studio here in Bellows Falls. Fact TV is a community access center that provides studio space and production services free of charge for community members in Southern Vermont and Keene. If you're interested in creating your own show, or you're already producing content and wish to submit it, or maybe you want to stay informed about news and events in Southern Vermont and Keene, including live coverage of local town meetings, sporting events, and community events, visit fact8.com. And you could be doing a show like Joey and I do.
Right now, exactly.
But don't do the same thing.
No. Come up with your own idea.
We've already got some
We have the
competition.
movies. Yeah, no, exactly. We have movies covered. I just wanted to quickly do a weekend box office. Despicable Me 4, not surprisingly, opened, second week at the box office at $43.6 million.
That's the top movie?
Yep.
Wow.
Longlegs opened second with 22.6, which was or 22.4, which was very surprising. There's something I wanted to mention about that after. Inside Out 2, third, 20.0. A Quiet Place Day 1, 11.4, and Fly Me to the Moon, a disappointing 9.4.
Wow.
I read an article about Longlegs that said it's been the scariest movie in a decade.
I got to see it then.
Nicolas Cage is in it. He plays Longlegs. I don't know if that means he's a killer or not. I've read about it, and I don't know. I'm intrigued. When I saw that it opened at $22.4 million, I was like, it's got to be somewhat good.
Every so often, like every year or so, I try to go to a horror movie and see if it's going to be really scary. I think last year, the last one I went to the theater was Smile.
How is that? You liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was okay.
Wasn't it creepy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't, mind blowing. To me, like the standard for a good scary movie, I like The Omen, which was from 1975.
Did you watch the remake that came out in like 2005?
No, I haven't.
It was terrible. Some movies, there are classics you should not remake. Like you can never ever remake Rosemary's Baby.
Or The Exorcist.
Like you can't. No, exactly. I mean, they do like their exorcisms of Emily Rose or whatever and stuff, but you cannot remake certain classic horror movies.
Yeah.
And those are two of them that I think: The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby. And The Omen shouldn't have been, but it was. And it was. I think it was Julia Stiles and Liev Schreiber, and it was stupid.
Yeah.
And it came out on 6/6/06. Because they're trying to make it all clever and stuff.
Maybe we should find a night to go see Longlegs.
I definitely want to go see Longlegs. I definitely, absolutely would love to go see that.
We'll give it a shot.
Like I said, I think Nicolas Cage is a terrible actor, but whatever. I mean, if I read an article that says it's the best horror movie in 10 years, I want to go see it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I thought for a while the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was going to be the scary ending. But, so anyway, yeah, so why don't you run down the criteria?
All right, so we decided, we were looking at the best actors, all the guys that have won Best Actor. I went back to, we said 1980.
We're basically from 1980 through present year.
And almost all of them, there's a handful of exceptions. I think we say, 75, 80%.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 80%.
Somewhere in that zone. If somebody is playing from a biography, right, a real person that they're playing, somebody that has a disability,
right?
Some kind of disability, someone that's gay,
right?
And then someone that has like an enormous weight gain or
weight loss. Correct. Yes.
Right? So almost all of the best actors,
they fit the criteria. One of them,
4 out of 5.
Like pretty much, at least 4 out of 5. Right in 1980, Jake LaMotta, Robert De Niro played Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull.
That's the enormous weight gain and a biography.
Yes,
right?
and we've had this argument so many times. I think the only argument I can make more compelling is Saving Private Ryan over Shakespeare in Love. But I don't get how Raging Bull did not beat Ordinary People for Best Picture.
Right.
I still don't get that. Ordinary People to me is literally an ordinary movie. It's like there's nothing great about it. I mean, I thought Donald Sutherland was good. I thought Timothy Hutton was good. But Raging Bull is just a better movie. I mean, better actors.
Scorsese, right?
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, I mean, a very good cast, and I just think it's a better movie. And I don't know how the Oscars. I don't know how they screwed it up so bad.
I think we should go back and watch those. That should be a show. We should go back and watch those two movies.
I want to see Ordinary People again because I looked it up and it gets a 7.7.
Actually, interestingly, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the list. This is just the Best Actor list.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert Duvall was nominated for Great Santini. Mm-hmm. I think the movie was okay. It's a good movie.
He was
Good
great.
movie.
He was great. He was absolutely. I had to watch that when I was younger because my dad loves Robert Duvall. And you're right, it wasn't that great of a movie, but he nailed that freaking role.
Oh yeah, he's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
John Hurt was nominated for The Elephant Man.
That's another one. I mean,
That's another really good movie.
that's a tough year. And then you have Jack Lemmon and Peter O'Toole. I mean, those are like, if you had a Hall of Fame in Hollywood, all of those guys would be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, right.
You know, I mean, no question about it. You know, I mean, 1982, for example, Ben Kingsley plays Gandhi.
Right. There's your biopic right
Yeah,
there.
you know, I mean, but that's another tough year because you had, I mean, seriously, Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie. That's tough. He was great in Tootsie. I love that movie. Jack Lemmon again. Peter O'Toole again. You know, I mean, there's a lot of repeat. And now you said Peter O'Toole never won, right?
He never won.
Never won.
Best Actor.
He got nominated how many times?
I
Like
think
8
he's nominated
times?
6 times.
6 times and never won.
Right.
That's a shame because he was a very talented actor. You know?
Oh yeah.
Obviously, if you see him getting this many.
Well, he lost. I think his great. If you looked at it, Lawrence of Arabia might have been his best chance, and he was beaten out by Gregory Peck.
Oh, To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's another tough. Yeah, that's tough. It's like
He's just had tough luck.
you know there was a. What was it? The year. I want to say it was when Daniel Day-Lewis won for There Will Be Blood. Everyone said any other year Hugh Jackman would have won for Les Miserables.
Oh right.
Because he was that great in the movie. He's like, but he just wrong year. You know, they should have made it a year before or a year after because
Right.
nobody was beating Daniel Day-Lewis that year.
So I mean, you name almost any. Well, maybe we should just randomly name a year. Name a year.
Well, like perfect. 1984. F. Murray Abraham plays Amadeus.
Right. This is an actual biography, so it wasn't factual biography, but
He's playing a real person.
right.
You know, so I mean that to me that fits the criteria. You know, I mean.
That qualifies right there.
All right, William Hurt.
He was gay.
I haven't seen that in a long
Kissed the
time.
Spider-Woman.
Did you like that movie, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty.
I
good
thought it was
movie.
pretty good. It was. I mean, he's another one. We always talk about David Strathairn being underrated. I feel like William Hurt is very underrated.
Oh yeah, he was
You know?
back in the day, back about that time. He was
huge
probably my
in
favorite
the
actor.
mid '80s, like Body Heat. I think was broadcast news like this. You know, I mean, there were a lot. He was in a lot. And,
Oh, yeah.
he's a really good actor.
Gorky Park. He starred in.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the '80s. That was a really popular book. Yeah, so he beat out. Let's see, Harrison Ford, James Garner, Jack Nicholson, and John Voight. So I guess that's a good one. Good choice for him.
Yeah, that's a good list of nominees there too.
So here's one that didn't qualify, right? That doesn't fit into our formula. Paul Newman as Fast Eddie Felson in The Color of Money. He wasn't gay, no enormous weight gain or weight loss. He wasn't biographical. It was a made up character,
Right.
And he didn't have any disability. So he's.
You know, in previous times that we've talked, I've always said this was like his lifetime achievement award because he never won anything prior.
Right.
But looking at the people he went up against that year, I mean, he probably was the best actor. You know, I mean,
I'm trying to see if I've seen.
I haven't seen
William Hurt again for Children
right.
of a Lesser
I
God.
haven't seen Mona Lisa.
Yeah, that's one I have to go back for.
Yeah, I mean, he probably really was the
Hey,
best.
look at this. William Hurt won in 1985. He was nominated in 86. He was nominated again in 87.
Yeah. No, he was really big in the mid 80s. He really was, and he's a very good actor. I mean, I guess I can't say he's that underrated if he does get acknowledgement for at least.
Now, coincidentally, right, the year after Paul Newman won, Michael Douglas won for Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Again, he doesn't meet any of the criteria. Two
Right.
years in a row that they got people to do that. But he beat out, let's see, William Hurt, Marcello Mastroianni. I didn't see that, Dark Eyes. Jack Nicholson in Ironweed.
Robin Williams, that's based on a true story, isn't it?
Yeah. and
Good,
then Robin
Good Morning
Williams.
Vietnam, yeah. That's a good movie. I feel like that's a very underrated performance of his. Because I think we both have talked about it. I'm not a big fan of his comedy, but he was a great, dramatic actor. He kills Good Will Hunting.
Oh, right.
I thought he was actually pretty good in Insomnia, even though Alex didn't like it. But I think he actually is a pretty good dramatic actor. He was a pretty good dramatic actor.
I think so, too.
You know, and outside of Mrs. Doubtfire, I didn't really like most of his comedies. They weren't for
Right,
me.
I didn't either.
I didn't like Popeye. I thought that was stupid. Oh, by the way, she just passed.
Oh, yeah,
Shelley Duvall just passed away, unfortunately. And I know she's not a movie star, but Shannon Doherty just passed away, too.
Right.
So, I never was. Obviously, Good Morning Vietnam does have comedy in it, but it's definitely a serious movie, you know? And I thought he killed it. I thought he was great in that.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing in Good Will Hunting.
Well, cheers to whoever decided to cast him. What was maybe the first one? The one where he played the teacher?
Dead Poets Society, I think.
Yeah.
I think Good Morning Vietnam was before Dead Poets Society.
Oh, okay.
So that was probably the first one where he actually did a real serious role. But he was great in that. I forget about that. He was great in that too. That's a really good movie. You watched that, right? I think I lent it to you, right? It's a sad movie, but it's a really good movie, and he was really good in it.
So let's see, another 1988, Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man.
I just watched Rain Man. I love that movie. We were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, I think, where you had mentioned that someone had said that, or you read somewhere that Crash wasn't the best picture of the year that it won, that other people thought. And I read an article about Rain Man. And we looked it up, and I saw the other movies. I remember Mississippi Burning and Big were two of them. I think it's better than both of them. I think they're all really good movies, but I definitely think Rain Man did deserve to win Best Picture.
Oh, yeah, Rain Man's an awesome movie. And I think he did an awesome job.
He was great. He was absolutely great in that movie.
I mean, you look at that. Sometimes you would think, okay, you're going to, like I say, we've got this criteria. So you go like, oh, okay, well, they're going to win because they played somebody that's, special needs or something. But if you watch the movie, he's just...
So believable.
He's awesome.
So believable.
It's like he created a person,
Yeah.
It's really... He definitely deserved
That's
it.
one of those performances that we always talk about where, I can't imagine someone else playing that role.
Right.
I wouldn't even want to see someone else try to play that role because Dustin Hoffman just absolutely nailed it.
And deserved it. So, as far as we're concerned, he deserved it. And he beat out, let's see.
Gene Hackman and Tom Hanks both were really good that year, too.
Yeah, they're good.
But, Dustin Hoffman, that's just that's one of those things when he's going to look back on his career and he's probably going to be like, that was my best work. Kramer versus Kramer was great, but
that I'm going to have to go back and watch it. Now, I saw it, and off the top of my head, I thought, it seems like, just like a regular film. Doesn't seem like I have to watch it so I can decide whether that's a performance that's above and beyond, like Rain Man was.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in the same category as Rain Man at all.
So it's kind of in the same category with Rain Man. In 1989, Daniel Day-Lewis won for playing Christy Brown in My Left Foot. And we've got the trailer for that. Is that something we could we put up on the screen? You can see a little piece of it, and then that'll kind of give us an idea of his performance.
I haven't seen My Left Foot in a long time.
25% of a quarter. That's a stupid question. 25% is a quarter. You can't have a quarter.
You can. Can't you, Christy?
Do you know what I was going to call it?
What?
The reminiscences.
Ma, Christy picked up the chalk.
Just like an angel, your skin makes me cry. You float like a
What do you think about Hamlet, Christy?
I'm crippled. contact them.
so fucking special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo.
Fuck Friday.
What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
You're very bloody nosy, Christy Brown.
I was only asking.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, just a little tidbit of, like, what his performance in the movie, which, you get a taste there. You can see what an amazing job he did.
That's a movie I definitely would watch again. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. But he's the only male actor to ever win 3 lead actor Oscars. And he retired at what, 58? I think,
Yeah, he's quite young.
And he has not come back yet, right? What was it?
Did we think he would?
I think he will. What was it? Phantom Thread was his last movie,
Right.
And you were disappointed, right? It wasn't lived up to your expectations, or
It's a really good movie, but it's not one that I think. It's very dramatic. It's not very action-packed. There's not a lot. I think he got nominated for that too.
Yeah, he did. It's funny because I just watched it like 2 days ago. Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
He is so great in that movie. He could play any character. Like he's like bound by nothing. Like his range is phenomenal.
Right, and when he plays those type of villainous characters, you really buy into it. You're really like, wow, this guy is really.
I haven't seen that movie probably close to 20 years, like since it came out. I forgot how good that movie is. That's a really good movie too. I think it was nominated for 10 Oscars. It didn't win any, but he was nominated for lead actor for that. Nominated for Best Picture, Best Director. It was nominated for a lot of Oscars. And I forgot how good of a cast that movie has too. It's got a pretty big cast. So what about Jeremy Irons as Klaus von Bülow in Reversal of Fortune?
I don't think I've seen that movie.
I have,
but it's a biography, so that's how
he was worthy. I feel. I mean, you got Kevin Costner, Dances with Wolves, Robert De Niro.
In Awakenings. Wow, that's a hard one. That's another great Robert De Niro
Robin Williams too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Another one, like they literally redid a movie that they had already done just because this actor killed the character so much. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Obviously crazy as hell. But they remade what was the original? Manhunter.
Yeah,
They remade it as Red Dragon because he was so good. And nothing against Brian Cox. I thought Brian Cox was very good in Manhunter. But Anthony Hopkins absolutely just owns that role so much that they ended up redoing it as Red Dragon in like 2002, I want to say.
Right, with Edward Norton.
Yes. Yeah, like Ray Fiennes is in it. I mean, that has a really good cast.
Since we're talking about this, I went back. I just happened to find my dad in his collection had Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal in a 2-disc set. And I hadn't seen Hannibal since it came out. So
I saw
went back
Hannibal in
and
the
I watched it
theater.
again. Yeah.
What did you think? Do you remember the part?
It's not in the same class.
No,
as Silence of the Lambs.
not even close. But the part where he's like taking Ray Liotta's brain and like throwing it in a frying pan and then feeding it to him, that's so creepy.
That was. I mean, that's like the standard. And even Anthony Hopkins in the movie, I kind of feel like it's almost like a takeoff on the character that he played in Silence of the Lambs. He's just a little bit, and I wouldn't even fault him, but I think it's probably how they wrote it for him, that it doesn't have that depth.
Right.
Silence of the Lambs. And maybe they feel like he didn't need to because he already established the backstory from the other movie.
Right.
I don't know. But
but it's definitely not in the same classes.
No.
I mean, I bet if you looked at the ratings on the two, I bet there's at least a 1.5 difference between the two.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
the
not
Silence
a
of the
knock.
Lambs is high. It's in the mid. It's in the mid to high 8s.
It's not a knock on Julianne Moore, who I think she's a great actress.
No, she's a very good actress, very talented.
Jodie Foster might be like a little bit of a notch above. I think Jodie Foster's pretty.
Yeah, I mean they're both very like A-list actors. They're both very
Oh
talented.
yeah.
The next one is Alex's favorite. We should have Alex come in and talk about this. Al Pacino playing Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade in Scent of a Woman.
We've got the trailer.
Oh, yes.
Can we run the trailer
Perfect,
for that?
yes. Talk about over the top.
This is the over-the-top Al Pacino.
Hi, Mrs. Rossi. I'm here about the weekend job.
Come on in. They put him in a veteran's home, but he hated it.
Colonel's a gentleman.
A real hero.
This is some guy.
Down deep, the man is a lump of sugar.
Get in here, you idiot. What do you want?
You mean what I want?
What do you want here?
I want a job.
A job.
I promise you an easy $300.
I don't get an easy feeling.
How's your skin, son? I like my aides to be presentable.
Well, I've had a few zits. But my roommate, he let me his clinic because he's from Chestnut Hill and he's got
The History of My Skin by Charles Sims. Get out my dress blues. They're in a garment bag in the closet.
Are we going someplace, Colonel?
What business is that of yours? Don't shrug, you imbecile. I'm blind. Our destination is New York City.
I'm just gonna have to turn right around and come back.
Charlie's having a difficult weekend. How does he look like he's holding up?
Oh, he looks fine to me.
Don't think I can't see women, because I can't see women.
Boy, you have a one-track mind.
Women are the essence of life. She's wearing Flores. Fleur de Rocaille. Ogilvy Sisters soap.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm in the amazing business.
I should be getting back to school.
I don't think you're gonna make it.
You said that the last shuttle leaves at 10 o'clock.
I lied. All I want is one last tour of the battlefield.
You're just in a slump right now.
How would you know, watching MTV all your life?
From Martin Brest, director of Midnight Run and Beverly Hills Cop.
Make your own rules, be your own board of governors, pay your own dues. I don't know whether they shoot you or adopt you.
It's not much of a choice, is it, sir?
Al Pacino. Chris O'Donnell. Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman. Okay, something that occurred to me. I want to ask you this question,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
We were just talking about how Jack Nicholson put his mark on the roles that he did. I said
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and As Good as It Gets.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the character's
Yeah,
name.
Melvin Udall.
Melvin Udall, right. Do you think Al Pacino put the mark on that character?
No.
No.
I liked the movie, but I mean, we were talking about earlier how I said that maybe Paul Newman's Lifetime Achievement Award was that, and probably wasn't. This was Al Pacino's Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, he'd been nominated so many times. They just had to give him an Oscar eventually. Robert Downey Jr. and Chaplin, I thought was great.
He was very good, yeah.
I didn't really like The Crying Game, but I thought Stephen Ray was excellent in that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Malcolm X, but I heard Denzel Washington. I mean, Denzel Washington's good.
All we have to do is say Denzel Washington.
No, he's good in
okay?
everything. I've never seen him have a bad performance.
I thought he was going to win that year.
That's what I mean. I
Going
feel like
into it, I said, he's...
I feel like they gave Al Pacino this Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, Denzel has two. You know, it's not like he's probably going to win more. You know, I mean, he's still relatively young, and he's one of the best actors in the world. But this was definitely like, Al, it's your time. You know, finally, you know, he got beat by, I think he was nominated for, what's the one with him and John Cazale?
Oh, Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, he was nominated that year, which he was great in.
Yeah.
But he was nominated against Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so that's a tough win.
Hey, did you know John Cazale? I keep reading this story. I've read it a few times about that he used to go out with Meryl Streep.
I didn't know that.
And when he died, he was dying of, he had cancer. She took care of him.
I didn't know that either.
And she was incredibly heartbroken when he died. I think his last movie was The Deer Hunter.
I think I read a thing where I think he was only in 8 movies.
Yeah.
And all of them are in like the top 100 on IMDb or something. It's insane because he's in like The Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, The Deer Hunter. Those are like half of them, and those are all in like the top 50.
I think he might have been in The Conversation with
Yes, he is.
Gene Hackman.
Yep, he is.
Right.
So I don't know what's the last trailer. We don't have time to play it, but I'm just curious because we're gonna have to continue. I knew this show wasn't gonna.
Well, the last trailer I set up for you because we've talked about this before, where I know that you really like Joaquin Phoenix, and he was nominated for playing Johnny Cash, and he didn't win. And Philip Seymour Hoffman won for Capote. So I've got the Capote trailer.
Okay. Well, we'll do that. I think we should do part 2 next week because we're only up to 1992.
All right.
But we're already out of time.
We got to do more.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you guys enjoying this? Because we're enjoying
Definitely. This is a lot of fun.
This is fun.
But this has been our episode this week. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Treller, and these are the ones you don't want to miss.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Here's Johnny.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.